in people's lives. There are only about 7 or 8 categories that truly matter. Most people focus on things that matter. They know more about some celebrity going in and out of rehab than about their own development. If you don't take care of your body, nothing else matters, because you don't want to be the richest person, but in the grave. If you have energy, if you have vitality on your side, it will show up in your relationship. It will manifest in your business and your life. You must master it uncompromisingly. This is too important. Emotions are everything. I mean, if you have a lot of money, if you have everyone who loves you, but your primary emotions are anger and disappointment, then your life is anger and disappointment. If you have $1 billion or 1 million people who love you, but your life isn't cool, what's the point? Relationships, especially intimate relationships and connections. That's where most people experience the most joy and the most pain. It's worth mastering them instead of struggling. Do you truly value your time? Mastering your time instead of just having a checklist to tick off, because you can mistake movement for achievement. I want to value the time that matters to me and to everyone I care about and love. What about your career or business? Mastering it instead of struggling. Most businesses struggle. That's why 96% of them fail within a 10-year period. Only 4% succeed, which doesn't necessarily mean they're profitable or that they're having fun or even making anyone else feel good. True mastery over money, so that money is never a question, so that you can do, be, give, and share as much as you want, to live without stress about it, to live in abundance. And then on a spiritual level, honestly, I don't impose spirituality on people, but I believe that ultimately whatever you believe in, you must live it. And it should lead you to growth and contribution. If you're growing, you feel alive. If you're giving, you feel 10 times more alive. I believe that if someone can celebrate and give, then they are spiritual. These, to me, are the areas of mastery. Yes, business, of course, but the most important areas of life are different. Most people waste time on things that don't make them feel fulfilled. That's why the average person isn't healthy, isn't in a relationship filled with passion. I'm not naive. I'm not a positive thinker. I know the truth. The average person isn't successful in business. They don't earn as much as they want. Very few people have these things. Few are happy, fulfilled, spiritually alive, financially strong. Their business is growing. They have passionate love, relation. And I am obsessed with finding the few who do and learning what makes them different so I can share it with others. Everyone measures success differently because everyone values different things. Some value success or significance, while others value love more. Others value basic security. So when I look at these specific indicators, I really focus on the metrics that must be measured to know whether your life is working or not. That's why I see life as something driven from moment to moment by our state of mind, the ability to shift your state without any nonsense or fakery, but to move from upset, disappointment, and fear back to your center or into creativity, certainty, or something that moves you forward. This will create a better quality of life for you and others. This is a critical skill set. Moment to moment, everything is determined by our state. If you're angry, you will react differently than when you feel playful. But what controls these states long term is how you perceive the world, your worldview. I define it as a metric based on 3 things. What you expect to see first. What are the goals you're striving for? Everyone has different goals, dreams, and desires, but as I traveled the world over 100 countries, I started seeing the same problems. At the core, there are 6 human needs we all have. We all need certainty, to avoid pain and have some pleasure. We all need uncertainty. We need variety, or we will feel dead inside. If you are completely certain, you will be bored. If you have complete variety, you will go crazy. There is no balance. What you need more of as a person. Everyone has developed a set of values, the need for significance, to feel unique, special, important, and loved. You must feel good to grow and contribute. Some people value security above all. I don't want to do anything unless I know it will work. I do nothing unless it's the same. If you change something, you scare them. If security is their #1 priority, everyone has the same needs. I know what their life will be like. I can predict the direction of their development and, to some extent, their achievements. If you're motivated by love, you also want security, but love is more important. You will behave very differently than if you were driven by significance. I must be the chosen one. I must be an example. I look to find what the top 2 values in your life are because they define your life. The 2 most common ones for 90% of people on the planet, if you had to choose from all of them, needs. Everyone wants love, but which one do you focus on? Most people focus on significance. We live in a Facebook world where people fake their lives, add new filters to make things look different than they really are, telling stories we know are complete nonsense just to look good, because we live in this kind of fake world where significance is more important than love, and it divides us. And the other most common one I see, security. People want to be certain before they can take action. You won't start a business if you're not absolutely certain before you begin, and you will never build a business that way. You will never build a great relationship, because if it's based on certainty, everyone has to stay the same and never change, which means you will never grow, which means you will be unhappy. So my metrics are about understanding what's driving you. I want to see if it's healthy or unhealthy. You can have 2 people driven by significance, but they follow different sets of rules. That's the second part. I measure the beliefs our rules create, how we fulfill that important need. I want to be clear about something. This is about an extraordinary life, a life on your terms, and there are 2 parts. The first is mastering the skills of the science of achievement. How do I take what I envision and make it real? And how do I do it faster, better, easier? The skill of designing whatever you imagine you can make real, like what you did with your company. Yes, that's a skill set. I spend an incredible amount of time helping people get there faster and better, showing them shortcuts, creating strategies, modeling what works so you can save a decade. But I would say after doing this for 38 years with 50 million people on this stage, I can tell you that in the science of achievement, there are many people who are great at it and still don't have an extraordinary life, have an admirable life that you see as extraordinary. But my billionaire friend calls me and tells me he wants to do something in his business, but what he really discovers is that he feels miserable and hopes I can somehow comfort him. So I give him what he wants for the change in his business, but he also gets what he needs, the change inside him. So the second skill is the art of fulfillment. If you want an extraordinary life, you can't just achieve it, you have to be fulfilled. As simple as it sounds, this is an art. It is not a science. Making money is a science. No matter who you are, follow these steps and you will have financial abundance. If you do these things, you will have an abundance of money. If you don't, you will have financial stress, right? The body, everyone is biochemically different from others. But we know there are laws and fundamental rules. There is a science to the body, and if you violate it, you will get sick, you won't have energy. If you follow the rules, though, we'll have an abundance of energy. It will affect everything in your life. That's science. Being fulfilled is different. Fulfillment is as unique as we are. Do you want to know what God or the universe loves? Look at the jungle, look at the forest. They are diverse, right? Most people think, well, I want to get this because they have modeled themselves after someone else, and that may work for achieving something, but it will never work for a person like you. What you think you want may not fulfill you. I always tell people, success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure, because if you fail and are determined, you don't really fail. You learn something, you try something else, you keep going. But when you succeed and aren't happy, a perfect example of this is something I mentioned at a seminar about a year ago. We lost someone I consider a national treasure, Robin Williams. And I asked people, how many of you love Robin Williams? Everyone raised their hands all over the world, right? He made people laugh, he touched people. So how good was he at the science of achievement? He wanted to be a great comedian to make the world laugh. He did it. He wanted his own TV show. He did it. He wanted to be #1 in stand-up. He did it. He wanted to do movies. He did it. He wanted an Oscar for not being funny, a dramatic role, and he did it. And he said he wanted a beautiful family. He achieved everything, and he's hung himself. And recently someone said, well, you know, he had dementia, he had substance abuse, he struggled with alcoholism for a long time because he made everyone happy except whom? Himself. That is the ultimate failure. So if I have no other message to give to your viewers, and if you allow me to give it right now, I would say this: I believe our lives are controlled by the decisions of one force, choices. Of course, I believe in a force greater than me. Call it God if you want, call it the universe if you want. But I also believe that it gives us choices. The choices we make control us much more than the conditions we face. The choices about what to believe, the choice about what to do and what to give. I tell people to think, about October 5th, 15 years ago, they made a decision. And if it had been different, their life would be completely better or worse. I don't know, but completely different. The most important decision you can make above all others on the face of the earth is the decision that no matter what happens in your life, you will live in a beautiful state. The decision to tell yourself, I will not suffer. But if suffering arises, pain means one thing, suffering means another. Suffering is when you feel worry, anger, frustration, everything that takes you out of a beautiful state. And here's what people don't understand. You can end suffering. Stop focusing on yourself and focus on something greater. Your kids, your partner, your purpose, your life. You can get out of it in a moment because the nature of the human mind is constantly comparing things. Your brain is a 2 million-year-old device, and it is not designed to make you happy. It is designed to make you survive, right? So it's always looking for what's wrong, what's missing, what should be fixed, saber-toothed tiger, how can I protect myself? And now people worry about what others think of them or whether they have enough money when 2/3 of the planet lives on $2 a day. And if you make $38,000, you are rich. The poorest of the poor in our country are considered rich. I'm not saying they should stay that way, but you can only build success on top of gratitude. My goal is to get you to think, life is short. We don't know how short it is. But if I had only 1 week to live, I bet you wouldn't allow yourself to suffer over the little things that usually drive you crazy. I think you would probably spend time with those who love you. You would do what you love. You would watch the sunset, smell the air. You would take in every moment. And you can do that. Why wait? Why not just decide that if suffering arises, I know the solution, because suffering is me over myself. You can say, it's not me. I'm worried about my kids because they're not doing well. No, you're worried that you haven't done enough for your kids. That's selfish, right? Yes, you're worried about what's been done, what you should have done, or what you shouldn't have done, and you can end that in one moment by realizing it and saying, I have made the most important decision of all. I will live in a beautiful state. Because here's what will happen. Anyone watching could lose a family member. Someone could get cancer. The government could change the rules. They could radically shift things. You could lose everything. You could go bankrupt. You could get divorced. No one knows what will really happen in life with uncertainty. But here's what you can know. You can decide that no matter what happens, you could have fun. If someone like Viktor Frankl could be locked in Auschwitz and come out of it, finding joy in the middle of Auschwitz, then human beings have a capacity that they underestimate. We think the external world determines how we feel, that people must behave a certain way. If your spouse, your children, your colleagues, or your boss have to act a certain way for you to be happy, and if they don't, you are unhappy, then you will always be unhappy. Because people around you will always change. My invitation is, as great as achievement is, it is more important to enjoy. And if you can enjoy every moment in a state of love, playfulness, passion, curiosity, and awe, you will treat others 100 times better than when you feel disappointed, overwhelmed, worried, stressed, or sorry for yourself. So my call to action is decide today to live in a beautiful state.